Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this evening. Elon Musk tweets the bird is freed, signaling his takeover of Twitter. Sources tell CNBC Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, CFO Ned Segal, and Policy Chief Vijay Gadde have been fired with severance costs totaling up to $200 million. Musk is likely to take charge as the interim CEO. Apple's global iPhone sales fall short even as revenue from India hits a record high. Amazon shares plunge after sluggish holiday sales forecast. The big tech rout continues on Wall Street with $800 billion in market cap being wiped out just this week. Maruti Suzuki cruises in the second quarter. Margins come in at a 7-quarter high as raw material costs fall. The management says they are sitting on an order book of over 4 lakh cars. Stock rallies 5%. Stock markets end a volatile session in the green. The Sensex and the Nifty post 1% gains for the week. 39 Nifty stocks end in the green as bulls continue to reclaim lost ground. New age companies that listed on Dalal Street are staring at a nervous November. Nykaa, Paytm, PB Fintech, Delivery and others will see shares worth 1 lakh crore rupees getting unlocked as pre-IPO lock-in is set to expire. Vladimir Putin says that he has no intention of using a nuclear weapon in Ukraine, says the war is part of Russia's wider struggle against Western domination, praises Prime Minister Modi's independent foreign policy, says both nations share special ties. The European Union strikes a deal with its 27 member countries to ban new cars with combustion engines by 2035. Cars currently account for 15% of all CO2 emissions in the EU. Well, this is the big story today. Elon Musk is now finally in charge of Twitter. The Tesla founder had until today to finalize the $44 billion acquisition or face a court battle. Twitter shares will be suspended on the New York Stock Exchange today and will be removed from the S&P 500 on Tuesday. The stock has gained 25% this year after Musk's proposed acquisition. Sources tell CNBC that Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, the CFO Ned Segal, and Policy Chief Vijay Gadde have been fired with severance costs totaling up to $200 million. Parag Agrawal alone is likely to receive a $40 million payout. Musk is likely to take charge as interim CEO and is also planning to reverse lifetime bans, especially on former US President Donald Trump. So how is Elon Musk financing this mammoth acquisition? Arjun Karpal standing by with more. Arjun.
We have got confirmation this morning from Binance, the cryptocurrency exchange. They were one of the companies that initially said they would back the deal earlier this year. They've come out and said they will continue forward with their equity financing, and they confirmed to us that the deal was closed as well. We know the banks are still involved in this. This is, of course, a point of contention here because there are a number of banks, including Bank of America, who'd carried out this debt financing for this deal. But this was back earlier this year when market conditions weren't as rough as they are now. What's going to be interesting to see is after this is all said and done, will the banks be able to shift this debt to investors in an environment where investors are turning away from risky assets and risky debt as well? And that, I think, is one of the big questions here over the financing. We still don't know, but hopefully we'll get some more details as the day progresses.
Arjun, many thanks. But let's stay with global earnings now. Tech major Apple's fourth quarter earnings ahead of Wall Street expectations after posting a record revenue of over $90 billion, which was up 8% year on year. The company's earnings per share was recorded at nearly $1.3. However, the global iPhone revenue missed street estimates, coming in at $42 billion. The company's CEO Tim Cook says Apple continues to perform well in emerging markets with strong double-digit growth in India, Southeast Asia and Latin America. Shares of Amazon tanked in after-hours trading as investors were disappointed with the guidance for the fourth quarter. Amazon expects fourth quarter revenue between $140 billion and $148 billion. That's lower than analyst expectations of $155 billion. The company's revenue for Q3 in line with estimates at $127 billion. Meanwhile, tech giants continue to suffer massive losses on Wall Street. $800 billion in valuation. That is what has been wiped out in this week alone. The big tech stocks have seen a staggering erosion of $3 trillion in combined market cap over the last year. The tech rout on Wall Street has also caused the net worth of billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg to fall sharply. The Amazon founder and the Meta co-founder and CEO have seen a combined loss of around $16 billion from their fortunes in just one day. Zuckerberg's fortune plunged by over $11 billion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, after Meta's disappointing earnings report. His total wealth loss amounts to over $100 billion in the last 13 months, more than any other billionaire this year. But back home, it's been good for auto major Maruti Suzuki, reporting a strong quarter this fiscal, with margins coming in at a 7-quarter high as the cost of raw materials has fallen. The company also reported a strong growth in volumes on the back of easing supply chain constraints. Sonia standing by to take us through the details. Sonia, good numbers there from Maruti.
Well, Maruti was a big gainer in trade today, up over 4% after reporting a very good set of numbers. In fact, the revenue growth was a solid 46% year-on-year, coming in at 29,931 crores, but that was largely in line with expectations. The big positive surprise came on the operational performance when the margins for Maruti hit a 7-quarter high of 9.25%. This compares to just 4.2% same time last year, and the management said that it is because of two reasons. One, that raw material costs as a percentage of sales have fallen 390 basis points year-on-year, and two, that they have taken certain cost reduction efforts which helped aid their margins this time. They also spoke about how the pending customer orders stand at over 4 lakh units, 4.12 lakh units to be precise, and that will aid their order book going forward. The stock is very close to its 52-week high.
Sonia, many thanks. That's Maruti for you, a stock car that was up by about 5%. And staying with the markets, the Lal Street closed in the green for the second straight week. Sensex and the Nifty ending a volatile session with decent gains. Both the indices have gained more than 1% in this truncated trading week. 39 Nifty stocks ended the week with gains. On to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. The government could be finalizing the framework that will govern the issuance of green bonds by next week. India is looking to issue its first sovereign green bond, which could be used to finance a string of clean energy projects. The Finance Ministry has already anticipated borrowing 16,000 crore rupees via the green bond route in the second half of this fiscal. Sapna joins us now with more. Sapna, so perhaps we could see action on this front as early as next week?
Absolutely. In fact, the earlier deadline, or rather the deadline continues to be around 31st October, but we are now given to understand that probably by the coming week, the framework should be ready. There's already a CA-headed panel that is looking into this. There are, of course, other senior officials from Finance Ministry and Niti Aayog who are very much a part of this. We're given to understand that, as expected earlier, that this could only be for the infrastructure sector. Well, that may not be right. They might be looking at a larger financing through green bonds. So basically, it's not just going to be infrastructure. There could be other sectors like agriculture, social sector. Maybe the government is looking upon green bonds more for general financing rather than, only a few sectors. That's one. Second, the framework is also likely to carry only the basic principles of green financing. It's not going to talk about projects immediately, and obviously even in terms of the issuances and the tranches and all of that, that of course will be decided with the government in consultation with RBI at a later stage. Apart from this, the clear sense that we're getting from government is that, there's a clear class of investors who are very much interested in coming forward for green projects, investing in those like sovereign pension funds, stuff like that. And those are the ones that need to be channelized, and the government should take the lead on this front because they're trying to set the market for the years to come. They're starting off very small with 16,000 crores, around $2 billion worth of government borrowing through green bonds, at least for the current financial year in H2. We'll have to wait and watch and see how this really pans out. And the other point that the government is very clear about is that they would like the cost of funds to be lower. So it's not that maybe at the same GSEC rates, but somewhere the markup should not be too high. I think that's going to be a critical point in terms of these bonds becoming a success, and we have to wait and watch and see what kind of companies come forward.
All right, Sapna, many thanks for joining us. That's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Bollywood is clearly in a funk with back-to-back box office failures. The Hindi cinema industry, which was known for its path-breaking content, is struggling to captivate audiences. Vishishta Unwala joins us now with more on what the impact is likely to be of this box office debacle. Vishishta.